Today, as you can see, we're building something. What are we building? We're going to build a set of steps. Got these 2x12s, compliments of my wife. She runs a mail route. Seen them on the side of the road and picked them up, put them in our Jeep Liberty. "14-foot 2x12s, two of them in a Jeep Liberty. Don't see that going down the road very often. So with these select tools, we're going to build a set of step runners. Stitching cord for power, of course. Sawzall. Makita skill saw. Framing square. Tape measure. Speed square. Not sure why we need it, but I got it. I would say pencil, but I ain't got one. Let me go get a pencil and a Sharpie. Alright, as you can see, our steps are going to be from the ground up 35 inches. I'm going to be using this wood here that my wife had gotten off the side of the road. Nothing wrong with them, 2x12s. But I'm going to be very particular about what part of this wood I want to use, what part of these 2x12s I want to use. For say on this one right here, this board here, I don't want to build my runners, start cutting my runners and run into this, because that'd cause it to split in half. So I'll start from this end, which has a more probability of being a better runner. And on the other one, I think I'm going to start from that end, because you got good clean wood without very many knots. But if you come from this end, come up, you run into these knots right here, which if you cut into get the runners cut into that, it's a good probability it'll break. Now on these steps, I'm going to be using a 7-11 pattern. I guess you could call it a pattern. It's where your step is actually 11 inches and your riser is 7 inches. Look down here. Alright, I know this is an old square, rusty, but I've already got it marked out where my 7 and 11 are. 11 from here, 7 from here. Alright, we would start on this corner, my 7 inches on this corner. And before I mark anything, 11 inches on this point right here. 7 in, 11 out. That's our first one. And take it back. This is going to end up being the back of the step. Our next one, we'll make sure our 7 inches are right on the point where this line ends on the board. And of course our 11 inches on the edge of the wood. We'll go ahead and mark that one out. Alright, then back over to here, we're going to go ahead and mark this all the way this way. If you can see that correct, if you can see that with the camera, that's going to be the back of our step up against our wall or our doorway. And this will be where you put a foot. This would be where you put a foot, or put your feet. Alright, continuing on. Like I said, well, I haven't said it yet. Continuing on, we're going to have 5 steps, because I measured it from the ground up being 35 inches to the top of our step. 1, 2, 3. This is my 4th marking. Get it lined up right. And then this one would be my 5th mark. Alright, this is going to be the 5th step. Alright. Now I know you're thinking that's the last step. No. We've got to mark for one more so you can see the end. Mark my 7 and 11. Mark this. Now I mark my line all the way over here. That's the end of that step. What we end up having is this being at the bottom. This right here is going to be on the ground. This part of the step is going to be on the ground. And you got step, 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 and then you're into the house. Now when I cut these with the skill saw, when I run my saw in, I'm only want to take it to that very point right there, which is going to leave a little bit of the wood holding this piece on the back side. And I'll take my sawzall to cut that off. And the reason I'm doing that is because I don't want to cut into this and destroy the structural integrity of the runner. The farther you cut into it, the more likely it's going to be a weak point for it to break. Alright, time to cut. Okay, now it's time to cut. As you've seen, I took my speed square and I maybe a line straight across that. And the reason being, there's no reason to really cut all this off when you just cut it straight and cut this piece off and this piece off, and you got your tread, your runner. And this part right here can be saved for something else later on down the road. This right here is what I was talking about, cutting all the way just to the point. Reason being, you want to be able to cut that out with a sawzall. That way you don't cut into the tread part and destroy the structural integrity of it. Now I'm going to sawzall it. Beautiful. That there, my friend, is a single tread. Alright, now what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be putting a 2x4 right here. This is going to be up against the wall of the trailer house. And I want a 2x4 right here to span in between these two runners to help hold them together. So 2x4 is going to be 1.5 inches. About 3.5. I want to go 3.5 from the very point here. So right about there. do that on both of these. Alright, this being the bottom part of my steps, this right here is going to be sitting on the ground, and I want to put a 2x4 just like I did at the top, but on it I'm going to put it at the top part, so we'll cut out for it. So come 3.5 down and then 1.5 inches in. So all we had to do, cut that out, and then we'll put a 2x4 right. That's one. Now that I've got my notches cut out on each one of my runners, 2x4 cut to 4 foot, I'm going to be mounting these in the notches. And this is the bottom. Okay, now I've got the riser set in place. Went ahead and put me a couple of 4x4s right here. I've already got them screwed in, and now I'm just going to start putting my steps in, which are going to be 2x6s, 5 foot long. I know, remember correctly, I cut these 4 foot long, and the steps are actually going to be 5 foot long. The reason being, I'm going to have a 6-inch overhang on each side. Alright, let's get after it. I almost forgot to put my X bracing back here to keep it from wobbling so much, so I'm just gonna put them on there. Now, if you're wondering why in the world I got moisture on me, it's hot. It's Louisiana. I'm not sure exactly what the temperature is. I'd say it's at least 90 to 95. It's not much breeze. Ain't no shade right here. Pretty warm. I know some of y'all are probably wondering why do I have it shifted over so far. It's nowhere near the edge of the door. When I get through, I'll show you exactly why. But for now, let's continue on putting steps on. All the steps are on. Now I'm going to show you exactly why I don't want it centered up with the door. Alright, reason I don't want it centered up with the door, you walk up to the door and if the edge of it's right there, you have nowhere to step to open the door. That's why I offset it. I want somewhere to stand to open the door. Okay, one thing I had forgotten to mention was how I come up with how many steps to build or to cut out. And the way I come up with that was whenever I measured for how high I wanted my top step to be, which was 35 inches, and I know I want my risers to come up 7 inches. So you take 35 divided by 7 and you come up with 5 steps. That's how you come up with how many steps you're going to cut out on your runner. If y'all liked what y'all seen here in this video, go ahead and hit the thumbs up. Go ahead and comment if you want to. If you won't, go ahead and subscribe. I'll be putting up more videos. I appreciate y'all watching this video. Peace out.